Hello, and welcome to another episode of Hacking with Friends. My name is Kody Kinsey. I'm a security researcher with Varonis, and here is our favorite camera lifeguard, Michael, and also part-time security researcher.
Sure. Let's go with that.
Yeah. I feel like that's the best one I've given you in a while.
Yeah, no, that one's actually accurate. Okay.
Yeah, all right, so today we are going to be talking about something that I really like, which is the ability to safely practice hacking. Now, Michael, when we do a class or something else that involves us usually teaching people in maybe high school or college about hacking, what is the usual response we get from the faculty?
Why would you teach a kid to hack?
Or how would they ever possibly use this safely?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So first they're like, how are they going to learn this without hacking our stuff? And second, they're like, why are you even teaching this to them at all? So of course, my argument for that is always, we need to teach the foundations of cybersecurity to young people so that they can grow up into their careers and be cybersecurity smart and aware. So that instead of having to hire a very expensive person to come and point out very common sense small problems, you'll have a whole army of people who are knowledgeable about the little things that people tend to get caught by, or things that are left misconfigured or otherwise set up incorrectly. So we're trying to teach people about all the ways that systems are commonly attacked so they can better defend against them, and so that they're educated and don't leave both themselves and the businesses they will work at vulnerable. So that is a big reason why we do these trainings and we teach people to do things like Wi-Fi hacking. But then the second question, how do we practice this safely? Well, Michael, is it okay to just go ahead and start hacking your school's Wi-Fi?
That's a big no-no.
Why not?
Because it's illegal and could get you big jail time, right? I mean...
Right.
But
so,
besides that...
depending on what you're doing, there are a variety of different laws in the United States and in other countries that restrict you from basically having unauthorized access to other computer networks, accessing a restricted or encrypted computer network. There's all sorts of different things that can get you in trouble if you don't have permission. So unless you happen to have, let's say, a spare router sitting around, if we're teaching Wi-Fi hacking, it becomes really difficult for people to practice safely without maybe accidentally attacking the neighbor's network, which happens to be set up perfectly for you to learn that tool that you really want to try out. So, Michael, what does the average router cost?
$100. I mean, plus or minus depending on what you're getting. And when you say router, I'm assuming you actually mean a full access point.
Right, that does Wi-Fi. So let's say that you want to learn Wi-Fi hacking, or we want to teach it to you. And now we are forced to figure out how to make it safe for you to go back home and learn some of these Wi-Fi hacking techniques and actually attack something like a real Wi-Fi handshake. Well, how do you do that? Well, normally someone would be like, oh, well, you could just get some old router for like $30 or blah, blah, blah. Maybe you create a hotspot on your phone if your phone supports that. But what if you could do all that for around $3? Would that be pretty exciting?
That sounds pretty nice, especially I think for anyone that's under 18 and may not have complete control of their own finances. Even if you are over 18, maybe you're really tight budget. So that's definitely nice. I would still suggest if you could get a router for $30, and yeah, that's nice. But the problem with that is going to be it's an older generation more likely. So it should still work, but you're not going to be able to practice hacking the most advanced stuff.
Exactly. So, all right. So in order to create an environment where you can hack something safely, we need to have a target that is legal, and it also needs to be cheap. And that is a pretty tall order, but I think we managed to do something that's pretty cool here. One of the things we've been able to do is take a single ESP8266 chip and allow it to put out a real handshake. Now, that's super cool if you just want to practice grabbing a handshake, because it allows you to put your card into monitor mode on your computer, start listening, and then grab something that you can actually crack, but it doesn't really simulate the full experience. I'm really proud of this idea because Stefan Krumser and I were at the C3 conference, and I was just thinking, I was just like, hey, can we just arbitrarily replay traffic? And he's just like, yeah. And I was like, could we just record a handshake and just play it back? And basically pretend that there's actually two devices there by playing both sides of the conversation. And he's just like, yeah, it shouldn't be an issue. So we collaborated to create one device that creates a handshake that basically is pretending to be two devices, one device joining an access point. And it's a really cool way of being able to practice, breaking a handshake, but it does come with one big limitation. Do you know what that is, Michael?
No.
Well, let's say that you want to do this as a CTF for a group of friends. So you want to have a bunch of people practicing Wi-Fi hacking, grabbing the handshake, and then trying to crack it. And maybe the password will get harder and harder as you go.
Yeah.
So currently, you would have to record the handshake that you want to do to play in Wireshark, save it, extract the exact packets you want,
be better if
put
it
them into
generated
Arduino IDE, export it to this board, and then reflash the board.
Yeah, that sounds a little
It's
cumbersome.
a lot of work. And that's just to change the handshake that it's sending. So how can we make it so that we can create a attackable Wi-Fi network with the client attached to it and practice things like deauthing or capturing a handshake?
Oh, what if you took one ESP and made it an access point and took the other ESP and made it connect to the access point?
That is exactly what we did here.
Oh my gosh, I'm like Einstein over here.
Yes.
I gotta patent this.
Oh, please do not do that. All right, so what did we do here? Well, we just literally connected two of these ESP8266s together, and what did we get? We got a device that's acting as an access point, so it's creating a Wi-Fi network, and we have a second device that's continually connecting to it. And all we need to do in order to change whatever this setup is, it's connected to a computer, and send it a serial command that tells it the Wi-Fi channel it's going to be operating on, the password, and then the network name. And that's all there is to it. We can create fake networks to start attacking, and it is completely safe and legal to do it. These devices are each around $3.
Yeah.
So, in fact, on this one, I've connected the power and grounds together. So I just plug one in, it automatically powers the other one. Super cool and easy. I'm kind of pushing to make this design a really little PCB so you guys can practice Wi-Fi hacking and just kind of like get this as like a one-off piece for, I don't know, like $30 or something. So if you guys are interested in like a Wi-Fi game piece of hardware that allows you to play a couple different Wi-Fi hacking games like this, and this wouldn't be the only one, it would be able to do a couple others as well. I think something like that might be a really cool way to do like group CTFs or practice your hacking skills with a piece of hardware where you can play a game and see if you're actually getting better. So
and it doesn't have to be like a static thing, because like some of the Wi-Fi games I've played in the past is like fox hunting, where you'll have someone with an access point physically on them, like going through a crowd and stuff. So then there are ways you could make it more fun if you were doing like some kind of CTF or something like that.
Yeah, and like for example, if the game is you want to hide one of these and have people go and find it, or if you want to create a hidden network. One of the ones I want to do really badly is I want to play back a couple pieces of traffic that are just an image. And then in order to get it, you have to hack the network, get the password, and decrypt the traffic in order to see what the secret is. And then, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. So like has a secret password as an image. And then to win the CTF, you just have to tell you that secret code or something.
Exactly. Or like tell us what's in the secret image.
Yeah.
I think it would be a lot of fun. So if you guys like that idea, please let us know, and we will work on it a little harder, because it's kind of like on the horizon, but there's so many other things to work on. But I wanted to get this up and running, and all right. So I also have to say, we tried to do this episode yesterday, and I found out that the code that I
Kody
published
was a failure.
Well, no, the code that I published originally on GitHub does not work. Unfortunately, the null byte video I shot about this has not been published yet, but I was very frustrated yesterday to find out that this code was totally broken and I had no idea what was going on. Fortunately, Stefan Kremser, who helped me develop this for the RSA conference, had a copy of the code, so we were able to revive this project, which was very successful at the RSA conference. It was
amazingly popular.
Yeah, it was super. Can you describe the setup?
Yeah, so we have this like back behind a TV, and on the TV we would draw people in, showing like all the Wi-Fi networks going on at the conference and whatnot, and then essentially we would do a simple Wi-Fi hacking demonstration. Airgeddon, I think, is what we were using.
Well, before we do that, we had two Raspberry Pis connected to two massive sets of TVs.
Yeah.
So we had two people running command line Kali Linux on a Raspberry Pi, and we would have these groups compete against each other to see who could hack the network password first, which was really, really fun. And yeah, we would use we just used AirCrack-ng in order, and AirMon-ng and AirPlay-ng in order to put the card into monitor mode, grab a handshake, and then rapidly guess it against a big list of different word lists. So
it was really cool because people got so spooked realizing like how easy it is to hack Wi-Fi. And it's kind of incredible that we were at this huge security conference. We were the only ones with
Real hacking game?
Real hacking going on. Like, people would walk up and they'd see a terminal and they'd be like, instantly, what's going on here? And want to know more. And it was just really kind of surreal realizing that a lot of people can work in this industry without knowing some of the fundamental basics. And then also, we had people from major corporations come up to us and tell us oh yeah, I'm the developer for this access point, and I never realized that Wi-Fi was so easy to hack.
Yeah, that was disturbing. That was a very major brand that came up and talked to us and yeah, I'm the developer for the security for this, and I had no idea you could do that. Is this do people know about this? I'm yeah, bro, this is the most common Wi-Fi attack.
This has been around for a
there.
decade.
It's been around for over a decade. It's crazy. So okay, lots to cover here, but one thing I want to say is if you guys are maybe in high school or in college, maybe you're in a computer science class or a cybersecurity club, then feel free to steal this. If you have a Node MCU or a D1 Mini, any ESP8266
it's not
microcontroller.
Stealing if you gave them permission.
Okay. Then use this as a demo. We were able to get people to learn how to hack Wi-Fi and see how easy it is and break it into just 3 steps for them, and so that they can do it from just a Raspberry Pi on Kali Linux. It really doesn't take much to set this up as a fun game that other people can play. And yeah, I think that it's great. You are basically just connecting 2 of these devices together and having them act as a reactive target. And we put a good amount of work into this to make sure it's detectable, because for some reason, for a while, not all devices could see the handshakes. We really put a lot of work into it. So you can use a lot of different tools to attack this. But today, we're just going to be using Wireshark, and I think we're going to use just AirCrack-ng, AirMon-ng, and AirPlay-ng.
Yeah, but what I really want to harp on is this is a great way to get people into Wi-Fi hacking, show it off. If you wanted to set this up at your local high school for a hackathon or whatever, it would be dead simple.
Yeah, no, if you got a grant for $100 or something, you could spend 60 on the Raspberry Pi, and then the rest of the money on just a couple of these and some wires. And you would have a viable way to hack Wi-Fi networks that is completely legal and very, very easy to show beginners.
Yeah, I would be a little more conservative. I'd say for $150 you could get 2 Raspberry Pis, set them up with Kali Linux, throw them on a monitor and a keyboard you already possess.
And then you have the game.
And then have the game, which is let's just say with shipping and stuff $10.
Yeah. So, if you just want to do this as a demo, you only need 1 Raspberry Pi, but if you want to play it as a game, then it's best to have 2.
Yeah.
Cool. So one circumstance we actually had one time, if you're really desperate, you can have a single Raspberry Pi with 2 wireless cards plugged into it, and then 2 people just use the school computers with the Chrome SSH extension to SSH into the Raspberry Pi, and they're both inside the same Raspberry Pi controlling different wireless network adapters.
But then there's opportunity to mess with the other team, as it were.
Yeah, a little bit, but mostly people don't know enough about that to make that a strategy. Not everyone's a cheater.
You could easily just turn their Wi-Fi card off monitor mode while they're in the middle.
Not everyone is a cheater.
Some of us are lawful.
Yeah, lawful evil. Okay, all right. So this is what we're going to be working with today, and this looks like kind of a rat's nest of stuff. But basically, what this is it's 2 D1 minis. They are connected via ground and power, so that's 2 of these, and then pins D1 and D2 are connected over here, and pins D1 and D2 are connected over here. So you've created just 2 connections between D1 and D2, and what that does is create a bidirectional communication, which is it's actually using I2 squared, I think, but it's creating a software serial interface between these 2 devices. So what happens is when we plug into this one, which is the access point, we tell it, hey, create this access point and tell the other microcontroller to join it. So what this one does is it receives the information from my computer, it sends it over these wires to the second microcontroller, and this one is cool, I'm going to attempt to join, this network, this password. It joins this, and then this reports back to me and says, successfully connected. We've managed to connect the client to the access point. So very simple game, but this is really easy. And here we have it on a breadboard. We're going to be putting it on a printed circuit board, so you can just solder it together at some point. If you guys are interested in that, let me know. I think that honestly, Wi-Fi CTF games are a lot of fun, and making these sort of reactive targets are really cool. So you can always add on more to this code as well, and it is free to fork and do whatever you want on GitHub. and you do so with my blessing. So, all right, let's go into, first let me unlock my computer. Whoops.
Yeah.
If I can. Okay, cool. Sorry, we're using a different computer from before, and we were doing a show about Michael's hat before, so yes. I gotta close this out. Sorry. All right, the project that we're gonna look at today is my Wi-Fi Duel project. So this was, again, developed for the RSA conference, and we were like the only people doing a real hacking demonstration. So if you want to check this out, you can see it at github.com. Oh, why don't I have this in my link tree? Okay, I'm gonna add this to my big hack.gay
if you're watching us on Periscope, I think if you go all the way back, one of our first Periscopes was Kody at the RSA conference.
Oh,
hacking.
yeah.
So you can actually see us doing this game with a real live audience if you wanted to.
Yeah, that was fun. You should try to pull that up on your screen.
Yeah, I was going to say I'll drop a link up in the
corner. Oh, yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay, but anyway, it was a lot of fun. People really liked it. And like at RSA, it's a lot of like commercial stuff. So people were just like, hey, let's bring in a bunch of cute dogs. And we're like, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot that has to do with cybersecurity, really. So for us, we really wanted to do something that was like cybersecurity related. It was real hacking, but we didn't want to go like way above these like people's heads because a lot of them are like marketing and salespeople, and they might be like a tiny bit drunk. Because RSA, you know, stuff happens. So we really wanted to keep it simple and make it more like a game show, but like a hacking game show. And I think we ended up creating like a pretty good balance between it. Oh, Michael's very, very close to finding it.
Oh, yeah, no, continue.
Yeah. But anyway, so if you want to follow along, we made the code available here. And let's go through the steps of actually getting this working because my instructions are pretty terrible. We have wiring the two ESP boards together. So that's pins, as I said, D1 to D2 and D2 to D1. So as long as those connections are made, then the two boards should be able to talk to each other. And ground to ground. You can actually just do those connections and power both of them independently. But I like to add the two 5-volt pins together because it allows them to both be powered by one. And I actually put this on a piece of perf board too. And I thought it would be better than a breadboard or a PCB. And man, was I wrong. It was not fun. Soldering perf board sucks. So I actually don't recommend it. But if you're brave and you want to, then you can also put this together on perf board and it will hold up to future use. Oh, I see it. I see the RSA thing. It's right there.
Give me a second.
Yeah, it's fine. So once you connect them physically, you need to download this GitHub repository. You will look for the two sketches. There's one that's an AP and the other is the receiver. And you flash the access point to one of the boards. You flash the receiver sketch to the other board in Arduino IDE. I'll kind of show what that looks like. And then you send this command, which is just AP, and then whatever the network name is, whatever the password is, and then whatever channel you want it to be on. And you don't have to include this one if you don't want to. It's just if you're monitoring a specific channel, it's kind of annoying if it just picks a random one. You know? And then after that's done, you can look at the serial output. And if you see connected and then periodically reconnecting, that means that it's successfully able to start at the access point and have the second device connect to it. And then it's reconnecting over and over. And I'll show off what that looks like. Did you find it, Mike?
I did find it. We could play it at the end of this live stream if we wanted to, or I can play it right now.
Play right now.
It's 9 minutes long.
No, just skip through it.
Okay, yeah.
So let's just show you guys like what this thing actually looked like. And also, if you didn't know, we have a Periscope that has some extra secret content.
You see my screen? So this...
That one.
Yeah.
So this was the RSA conference.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Sweet.
It fixed it. Yeah,
so
this was the big Megatron that we were actually recording on here. And then old... Pre-pandemic days.
Yeah, so we were allowed to be, we were like washing our hands a lot, but like still allowed to be around normal people.
Yeah.
So we had two different teams here that were competing. And I was walking kind of everyone through how Wi-Fi hacking works and giving them some pointers on how to get it done. So maybe a little bit towards the end.
Yeah.
So look, guys, adults like this game.
Wait, what's it doing?
Yeah, don't trust it. Just skip towards the end.
Yeah. I was trying to make it bigger. So that's where they actually crack the password. You can... It's a little grainy.
Yeah, and then someone wins $100. So unfortunately, we're not giving out $100 today. But it was still really awesome to get these people who were just coming in. As you can see in the background, most of the stuff is just like marketing booths and like maybe you get a t-shirt. But we were able to give out like a ton of cool prizes, and yeah, it ended up being a really popular event. So, okay, cool. Thank you, Michael.
And then we'll go back to your screen. And...
Yep. Okay, so let's actually do this. So once we download this, which we can do by just clicking on code and then download zip, we should be able to open it, which I'll do here. And we have a couple different options. We have the binary files, which are basically like frozen versions of this that are ready to be loaded up onto a microcontroller. These ones will work on the D1 Mini. So if you have a D1 Mini like these, which is my preferred one just because they're really easy to order. The other one that will work just fine is the Node MCU, but there's 3 different versions, and the one that people tend to push online the most sucks. It's the V3. And just so you don't order the wrong one, which is terrible to work with, I highly recommend a D1 Mini, just my opinion. So anyway, if you download this and have the bin file, you can just go ahead and use a Python program to flash this directly. It's called ESP-Tool. So if what I'm showing you doesn't work, you can follow a tutorial for just flashing with the ESP-Tool and flash these directly. They're kind of a workaround if Arduino IDE is not working. But for now, I can open the ap.ini file.
How would you flash them if you didn't have Arduino IDE working?
ESP-Tool. So you just do like pip install ESP-Tool, and then you would do ESP-Tool, and then you would need the serial port that it's connected to, and then the binary file, and that's the entire command that uploads the whole thing. All right, so yeah, sure, move it into a folder. I don't care. All right, so this is what the sketch looks like. This is for the access point, and here, in order to actually do all this, you need to make sure that you have the correct boards installed. So let's go through how that works. So this right here is the ESP8266 generic package for the ESP8266 chip, which is the heart of the D1 Mini and the Node MCU, and anything else you're going to be working with on this project.
And we can put that link in the description below, but where else might they acquire that link?
So this, they can find in a variety of places. One of them is going to be if you just Google ESP8266 Arduino, this link will always be included in the setup, but we'll include it in this as well. And I'll try to maybe drop it in the description, but I'm not logged into GitHub, so I can't right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, once you have this in the
I was
additional...
talking about the YouTube description. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Once you have this in the additional board manager URL, you can press OK, go to Tools, and then go to Board. And under the Boards Manager, check out the, once it finishes downloading the platform index, look for ESP8266. Now, I've also downloaded some additional ones, so I can see the ones by Spacetoon Technologies. I have these, oh no, wait, I don't have them installed. Whatever. But the ESP8266 by Community, I do have this one installed, and this is the one that we're going to be using today. Now, I will note that sometimes you'll get a problem when you're installing these. For example, if I try to install this, it tells me, for one, it is incredibly slow. And for two, it tells me that there's some sort of like checksum problem. Oh, see, CRC doesn't match, files corrupted, temporary problem, whatever. So if you're having a problem with this one right here, if you've worked on one of the dauthor projects, try the community-based one. I find that that one works. So, all right, in order to write this to the board, I have a couple things I need to do. First, I need to go to Tools. I need to go to Board and make sure the D1 Mini is selected. In this case, it's the Lowland Wemos D1 R2 and Mini. And oh my God, I have so many boards installed, but trust me, it's down here somewhere. So then we need to select the right port. And this has been selected because I selected it. But in order to find out what port I'm connected to, I'm going to go over to my terminal. And I don't even know what that's... Oh, it's making Wireshark. All right, let me make this bigger. I have to type ls USB. And we can see there's not really much going on. I'm going to unplug it and plug it back in.
And does that command work on like Linux machines?
This is a Linux machine.
Or that is a Linux machine, yeah.
On a Mac OS system, you would use ls dev/cu star.
Cool.
There you go.
And Windows?
And Windows, I don't know. You do that. I'm also going to plug this other one in. So it looks like it found it, but I'm not sure why it's not showing it again. So I'm going to try plugging in from this one. All right, I saw both of them light up. LS USB. Oh, wait. I was doing the wrong one. D-message. DMESG. Okay, cool. So now we can see when I type DMESG, I can see that this is attached to TTY USB 3. So it's not 1, it's not 0, it's not 2, it's 3. And that's important because all of those options are equally likely because it does not tell you. So now I know it's TTY USB 3. I can press this to verify. And this version of Arduino is having some problems. So this one might not compile just because I have to update some stuff. But let's see what happens. I'm a little scared. Anyway, it'll continue to compile, and either it'll give me a giant list of errors because I need to update my version of Arduino, or it'll be nice. And look, it's being nice. That's so wonderful. So then what I'll do is I'll press the upload button, and hopefully I'm not cursing our live demonstration by uploading untested code, but I think this is the right one. So we'll see.
Yeah, knock on wood.
Why'd that die?
Oh, because I have my screen.
Oh, okay. Cool. Report a problem. Ubuntu is ready. All right, so it can't open it because the port's busy. Interesting. Oh, well, that's probably because I have a serial monitor open. Let's close that. So you cannot address a port while you are monitoring it, I believe. I hope
to know.
Maybe. I guess we'll see.
We're doing the troubleshooting for you. So that way when you encounter
it's connecting. All right. So, oh my God, I hope this doesn't destroy it.
And the magic.
Again, so if you're just joining us, like what we are doing, aside from potentially destroying these boards, is creating a reactive Wi-Fi target that is safe to hack. And we're doing it for way less than buying like an access point or even like a Raspberry Pi. We're doing this for super, super cheap. We're doing it for like $6. So, all right, so this is now done uploading. Now, what we need to do in order to get this all working is do the exact same process with the other sketch. So if I go, what is this? I don't want to report anything. Go away.
You have so many windows.
So if I were to go back into the master.zip and open the receiver.ino, I would just repeat this process and flash it to the other board. I've already done it, so I don't want to mess this up, but that is what we would need to do. So, okay, now if I want to confirm this is working, I can press Control-Shift-M.
I kind of recommend like putting a sticker on one of the boards too, just so you know.
I have an LED.
Yeah, an LED, just so you know which one's which.
Yeah, on the perf board, I soldered a little arrow on one side to let me know that was the one to plug in, because like they're identical. It's really hard to remember which one is the access point and which one is the receiver. So, all right, a bunch of question marks. What do we do with that? We just press the reset button. Boop. Now it says.
And the reset button is where on
the only button on the whole board, right?
I'm
there.
sure you can find it.
Yeah. Just press stuff until something goes in. That's the button, and it's the reset button. So I can also unplug it and plug it back in, but this works better.
Good life advice there. Just press buttons until something happens.
All right. So now it just says started. Well, what is it waiting for? It's waiting for us to tell it to make a network. So we're going to go back to the GitHub, and let's take a look at the command we're going to send. I'm just going to copy and paste it, and we'll take a look at it before we send it.
Cool. So you can designate the channel, the name, and the network and password?
Yep. So first is AP. So that tells it we're creating an access point. Then SSID, network name. And this is where we decide, what we want the name of the network to be. In this case, it's just network name. And then password, network password. So this is where we decide the password of the network. Then we can select the channel if we so desire. We're going to be doing channel 11. Let's send it and see if it actually works.
I don't think you'll have this as a feature right now, but I think a really good feature would be to be able to give it like a password list, and it picks a random password there. So particularly like if
we have that. It's called the Chicken Man game. It is it's much more elaborate, but yes, that does exist. Okay, look at this. So we are now getting a result, and it's a repeated result. So it's not just stopping and giving us one handshake. It's continuing to give us handshakes automatically. Now, why is that important? Well, if you're playing a game where the point is to capture a handshake, then you can do this without needing to require deauthing. And depending on where you're doing Wi-Fi hacking, deauthing may be a deal breaker. There might be some people that say absolutely not. People might kick off the wrong device, off the wrong network. And there might be some cases where they're right. For example, like medical situations where you have like weird medical devices connecting over Wi-Fi that shouldn't be but are. Like a lot of these things are super vulnerable. So you can get in trouble for attacking the wrong
Right.
stuff. This sort of setup allows you to do Wi-Fi hacking without deauthing because this device is designed to continuously produce handshakes. Now, what does that actually look like? Well, let's take a look in Wireshark.
Yeah, and even if it's not like medical stuff, like just if you're learning hacking at home, the last thing you want to do is, make your parents or your roommates distraught because you destroyed their Wi-Fi.
Yep. Okay, so right now, if I type ifconfig and then just filter, I can see that the wireless card is called WLP3S0Mon. Thanks, Ubuntu.
Yeah.
And that's because it's currently in monitor mode. So if you haven't put something in monitor mode before, the way that you do it is, in Ubuntu anyway, sudo airmon ng start, and then the name of your wireless card. In my case, WLP3S, I guess it's just that. So this is not going to work because it's already in monitor mode, but that's how you would get yours into monitor mode, just like mine. So now it is running in monitor mode. I have started Wireshark, which I'm going to go to over, oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Right here. And I'm going to stop Wireshark, and actually, let's start it from scratch.
Wait, are those all handshakes?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
All right, so I'm going to go to my other window. We're going to do sudo Wireshark. Okay, so now I have a bunch of different stuff I can select from. I'm going to select my wireless network adapter. How are we on time, by the way?
We're only 30 minutes in.
Okay, so now I'm going to type ePOL as a filter. Now, Michael, what is an ePOL?
We covered this on a previous live
We've
stream.
done it so many times,
so I
Michael.
should know this.
You should know this.
Is it a handshake?
It's a handshake. All right,
Yes.
if you're like Michael and you've been with us on previous live streams and you've been awake, then you may have picked up that ePOL is also meaning kind of a handshake. So if we look at this, we can even see that they are organized into 1, 2, 3, 4. Have you ever heard something like a
Four-way handshake?
Exactly. Yeah, so all right. What we're doing is we're capturing all the necessary sides of a handshake in order to crack this. But interestingly enough, if I was to just select these packets, export them, and try to crack them in like aircrack-ng, it wouldn't work.
Why?
Are you calling me a liar? All right, fine, let's see. I'm going to stop, file. We're going to export objects, or just like export specified packets. There we go. We'll do Michael hater, because you're hating on me.
Hateful.
We're going to try to
Michaels.
find it to, wait, where's the desktop? Just, yeah, sure.
Computer.
We'll do the desktop, and we're going to save it as a PCAP. All right, so then in a terminal window, aircrack ng, and then we'll do, I'm so lazy. I'm just gonna, where's the file browser? Michael hater.
There we are.
All
And
right,
so does this that contain just like just the one?
one
handshake?
potential target, but look at what's missing.
The network name.
The network name. So in
Why?
order to successfully crack a handshake, the algorithm that's actually creating the number that's being exchanged takes two different things in order to create this unique number. It needs the name of the network, and it needs the password it's creating this number from. So without the name of the network, we actually don't have enough information to crack it. So do I even have? Okay, so to make this a valid command to prove my point, I need to find a word list. And I bet I have some sort of word list.
Passwords.txt.
Where is it? Where is it?
Down.
Passwords.txt. Okay, yeah, you're right. This is a good bet that it. All right, so let's try it. An ESSID is required. So then it says try typing -e. So I'm like, all right, E, and then
I'm assuming you just...
network name. Nope, didn't work. So this is not useful.
Yeah.
But okay, do not despair. We still can do this, but how? Oh, and also I need to do something as well. So if I do nano, and that, well, actually, I'm so lazy. It's great.
just have, like, all
nano
the
passwords.txt. I can see there's not that many passwords in here. I can maybe add some more. But in order to prove my point, you guys would want to have, do I want to? No. Okay. Network password. Okay, so this brute force attack assumes that at some point in this password list, there's going to be the password. So I have a much longer password list I can run for you guys, but I'm also just going to include this in our little super tiny one just for the sake of time. We're going to have a different live stream that Michael is going to be hosting that's going to be teaching all about creating a password list. So don't despair about the password list quite yet.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, but also don't hold your breath. All right. So now what can we do to fix this? Well, we can start our capture again. So we're going to continue without saving. Now we're getting the handshakes again, but we know that that's not all that we need. Well, here we can expand in Wireshark our information to learn a little bit more about the devices that are having this conversation. Now, using our signals intelligence tools, we can see the receiver and the transmitter of this message, and we can use that in order to establish another filter that will give us the information that we need. So here I can right mouse click and I can click on apply as filter. And Michael, what is that going to do?
It's going to just filter for all the stuff from that one network, right?
Yes. Now, if I look at this, I'm suddenly capturing broadcast packets. So that means I'm able to see the name of the network, which is network name here. So, all right. This is really, really good. If I want to be even more specific, let's say we want to be very specific here. I say I only want to receive packets that are broadcast type, or let's see, beacon types. They're sent so the destination is broadcast. That means that they're sent to everyone, and the source is this device that we're interested in. So we're going to find a beacon frame, and this is what we need. We need a handshake and a beacon frame in order to successfully crack the password. So we're going to look at the details of this packet. What is it? What is it doing? Okay, so we have a couple different ways we can do this. We can either create a filter that is, I only want to see beacon frames that are from this address, perfectly valid, or we can use a single one that says, I only want to see beacon frames with the SSID of network name.
Okay. Yeah.
Equally valid. Like really, whichever. I'm going to do this one because it's one instead of two, but you can use compound ones just as well with the and, or the or symbol. I love Wireshark for that. It's super cool. So now we're saying, all right, the WLAN SSID has to be network name. Cool. Now we can do the or.
And what are we looking for here? Because I thought.
Well, right now we have the beacons.
Right.
So we also have to add the handshakes.
Okay.
So what we're doing, what Wireshark needs from us is a display filter that allows us to filter out just the beacons from the appropriate network and the handshakes together.
Okay.
So it has to be like some sort of statement that equals
So it has to
that.
be a PCAP file with both of those.
That's what we're exporting.
Gotcha.
Yes. But right now we're just playing with different logical statements that allow and filters that allow us to just select the packets that we want. So let's do the SSID has to be network name, or it can be an ePOL packet. So if we do this, then what we should be seeing is a bunch of beacon frames, but also handshakes.
In theory, couldn't we be seeing handshakes from other networks here?
Yes, we could. Yes, we could. And the way that we could filter that further would be, we could take the transmitter address.
I was going to say, is there a way to make ePOL just from like a certain...
So, all right, this is what I'm going to do, because I am lazy. I'm going to copy this. Then I'm going to right mouse click this, apply as filter. So I'm saying I just want to see stuff from this transmitter address. And then I'm going to go back to the start, paste, and then I'm going to do an and.
How does it decide, like, so does it just do the operators from left to right? So it's...
Well, I can also do... I believe I can do parentheses. Let's see.
Okay, yeah, because I was just... That's one of those situations where it's like...
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so now what are we saying? This is like becoming like kind of algebraic, but at least it makes sense. We have ePOL frames, we have beacon frames, we have a probe response. Okay, whatever. Oh, it's because, yes, we have WSSID. Oh, yeah, the probe response is in there too.
Now, is that a problem if we have that other data in there?
No, but it's because we didn't use a different logical operator. So basically, if we want to add onto this and be more precise, we just add some more like Boolean logic. So here, let's take an example.
It's not complicated enough yet.
No, well, no, yeah. So we want the transmitter to be from this. So I guess I don't really actually need to do that much. So if I want to make a statement on this side, I can, oh gosh, do this here, do this here. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I love this like nerd Wireshark stuff. It's like the best.
Gosh.
I think it's so fun. So
honestly, like Armageddon is a lot easier than this.
No, it's not. Armageddon is for children. The thing about Armageddon is if you make one mistake, it boots you and you're back to the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh wait. Okay. So maybe if I change it to the frame control field. Yeah. Maybe if I change it to this. So all right. So that did not work. I'm still getting the probe responses, and I'm sure that there's like a network engineer that's like yelling at me now. But I'm going to copy this again. This time I'm going to select a beacon frame as the subtype, and I'm going to apply that as a filter. And then, now that I have that here, and you guys can kind of see how I develop my Wireshark capture filters all crazy, but it does work, and I like it because you can kind of play around and see what produces the result you want.
Well,
and look at this, the perfect formula.
Anyone could copy this filter and then just replace the MAC address.
God, I didn't want to know why. I don't want to know why they would, but yes, they could. So yeah, look at that. We have our ePOL messages. We should have everything we need here. We have our beacon frames, and we don't have any of those nasty probe responses cluttering up our data. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to export this, and let's take a look at what it looks like. So I'm going
to so long that there's so many handshakes.
Export specified packets. Yep, so we're exporting the displayed packets. This one is being saved as big hater. Saving there to the desktop. All right, let's try this again. Now I'm gonna go, and I'm just gonna change Michael hater to big hater.
So original with these names.
Thanks. And we're gonna run this again, and let's see if it's able to actually recognize it successfully.
Maybe next time I'll be like a hater lifeguard.
No. 0 handshakes. All right, so what's going on here? So I'm just going to get rid of this part of the statement. Whoa. No, I didn't want to get... This is the danger.
Danger.
No!
Danger.
All right. That's so brutal. It just erased it.
And you didn't copy it?
No, of course not. I was using...
All of that hard work gone up in flames.
Nah, it's not a big deal. But it is annoying. All right. So let me try exporting this again. Export specified packets. Displayed.
Okay, yeah.
I just wrote a really simple filter. So this is going to have other stuff in there, but, you know, who cares? Try. They're not paying me.
Final. 2.
They're not paying me to be creative. All right. Try. Okay, there we go. We can see stuff. So if I pick number 5, it's going to be, hey, there we go.
Wow.
We were actually able to crack the password. Of course, this wasn't much of a challenge.
Yeah,
because we had like literally 17 passwords in that. But let's say we wanted to do something that's a bit bigger. Yes, we could obviously do something like, oh man, there's so many password lists.
Yeah, like I'm going to switch to my, wait, hold up. What I was going to recommend, if you need a password list, you should see my screen now. Just Google password list and like the first one here, the sex list.
I'm sorry?
SEC.
Sec list.
Yeah, sec list.
Yeah, thank you.
It like, you know, that's all you need. It's super long. It's got like all the common passwords. And then if you go to the root, like there's tons of password lists. That's a good start. Obviously, in a future live stream, we'll go over how to find even better lists and make your own custom list. But now back to Kody's screen.
Cool. Okay, so we just used Wireshark in order to crack a password. which is pretty cool. And of course, like the magic here really is the password list. Like we've gotten you all the way to the point where you can throw this into something and provided you have a good password list, eventually it will crack the password on a Raspberry Pi, on a Linux computer, whatever you want to do. This is going to allow you to use Wireshark to just listen in. But if you want to use some other hacking tools, we can do that too. So let's say we want to do AirPlay. Let's do Airodump-ng.
Yeah, that's what we
So
use
we'll
during
do-
our game.
Let's see. Oh my gosh, what the heck is the name of the card? I hate how Ubuntu always changes it to something crazy. All right, so sudo Airodump-ng, and then we're going to use this. Now we also need to specify where we want to write the packets out that we're capturing. So we'll do try one.
Try to final.
.cap. Oh my gosh, yeah. All right, let's see if this is even halfway right. All right, so it's listening. And another thing we can do here is we can specify what channel we want to be on. Now, in this case, I'm going to make this much smaller. Well, that doesn't help. There we go. So there we go. I can press Control-C because I've now got a handshake. You can see it on the top left. But really, what if I want to make this more focused? I can do this again. I'm going to make it try 2. And I can specify I want to be on channel 11 because I've set this up on channel 11. Why do I want to be on some other channel anyway? I'm just going to press enter and boom, I pretty much instantly got a handshake. Why did it happen so fast? Well, what this is doing is it's skipping around to a bunch of other channels, and because there's like 11 of them in the United States, it's probably going to be on another channel when this handshake happens. So by specifying what channel you want it to listen on, generally we do this in 2 phases. We start out by just listening in general and figuring out what channel the action is happening on. And the second thing that we do is we lock onto that channel and start writing to a file. So now if I type ls, somewhere in this giant mess of, files, I should see try2.cap. So let's do ls grep try. And we can see, so it saves it in kind of a wonky format, but try2 there was no need for me to put cap. It saved it as a .cap anyway. It's .cap. Fun.
Nice.
So if I want to do aircrack ng,
try2.cap.
Try2.cap.
Cap-01.cap.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and then wonderful. w.passwords pass.text. Let's see if this works. We're going to select number 4. Key not found, probably because we're using the wrong password list.
Oh no.
So I'll go back to wherever that was. I was trying to find a bigger one, but
yeah. Something else that could be important to consider is if you are performing a penetration test on, say, a larger corporate network or something, there may be multiple access points that have the same network name that are on different channels.
All right, let's try our mighty password list with 17 passwords, including definitely the right password. I wonder what will happen. 4. Wow, amazing. Can you guys believe it? Shocking,
Such
I know.
late hacks.
Yeah. All right, so how are we on time?
We're 50 minutes.
Okay, I think that's a good place to wrap up today. I am exhausted by this project because of how troublesome it was yesterday before I realized I had the wrong code. But hopefully you guys can see this is super, super easy to teach beginners how to grab a handshake and crack it. It really does just take a couple commands to do it. And if all you have is Wireshark, then that will work perfectly fine too. So if you have a MacBook Pro like I do that is not that well suited to some of these other Linux things involving, manipulating a wireless card, it allows you to do some Wi-Fi cracking of your own. And if you're using a Windows system and have a serial connection, you can set one of these up and start attacking it. I don't know how to do Wi-Fi hacking in Windows, but I know you can run a virtual machine and do it in Linux. So you can do that too.
Windows subsystem for Linux?
Nope, not at all. Do not even try. It does not work. We tried it and we don't like it.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, so this to me is just the beginning of a larger project that teaches people how to safely practice their hacking skills. So before you go hacking your neighbor, before you go like buying like $100 access point to like use as a punching bag, consider just using these little microcontrollers as a safe and easy way to practice your own Wi-Fi hacking skills. Maybe try writing your own tool that like automatically attacks something without risking getting in trouble. Like there's lots of different ways you can use this to kind of create a reactive target that teaches other people, teaches yourself, or is just a really good demo for the way that this stuff works.
Yeah, if you didn't like Airodump or other tools like that, this would be a great way to like make your own tool to capture handshakes and do that kind of Wi-Fi hacking stuff for sure. And like I always say, like if you want to like give the gift of hacking, as it were, like, you know, you have someone that you think might be into hacking, you could easily put one of these together. Put Kali Linux on the Raspberry Pi. It's like under $100, so relatively affordable, but makes a great Christmas gift or, you know, something like that.
Yep, absolutely. So that's all we have for today. I just want to give a big shout out to everybody who has been like earning us like the Restream like 100+ comments badge like every stream we've done. I really appreciate the energy that you guys bring to the streams. You guys are awesome, and I love answering your comments. So as the comments and questions come in, just like, keep hitting us up, keep letting us know that you like the stream if you do, and we will keep doing this. We've also had a number of different ideas that were inspired by people from the show, so keep hitting us up with your great ideas for future streams. We really love to hear what you guys want. And in general,
I promise I see all your comments and read them all. I'm just usually monitoring the stream, so that's why Kody's the one.
So Michael's the camera lifeguard. He's the one that makes sure our stream doesn't go awry, and he's also the one to blame when it goes down. And I am the one responding to your comments during all of our streams. Although we also do the live Q&As, which will be not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that, because we just did one.
Yes, correct.
Yep. All right, guys, if you want to check out some other great Varonis content, we are not the only ones doing great things. You can check out the Varonis brand content because our friend Killian has started doing the new threat update where he teaches you guys about the kind of threats that major companies are experiencing. And it's a great way to find out that, you know, for companies like Varonis that are huge and way out there and experiencing all these threats and kind of like doing great research about what's the bleeding edge things to worry about right now, Killian can break down kind of what threats are occurring in real time and what the customers of Varonis are responding to in terms of ransomware, malware, and other sorts of attacks. So I think it's really cool because like I don't have hardware that's all over the world reporting to me like what the current attack that's threatening networks is. But
believe
Varonis
it or not,
does.
We're not a Fortune 500 company that gets attacked all the time.
So there's lots of great information there if you want to check it out. We are always also looking for other great collaborations. So we had Brett who taught us a lot about Docker on recently. If you guys know of anybody else who has a great show that would make a good collaboration, please let us know. And that's it for today. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us. Bye.